All right, so we are ready to go ahead and start on the wine topper project here. And if we take a look at this, what's different about this project compared to the project that we just finished up? What's one thing that you notice?
It's like natural.
Okay, it's like natural, he said. So it's not painted, right? Do you know that this is actually the wood's natural color? So all that we did was we put a clear oil in this. These might actually have a oil linseed oil, so it might have a little bit of an amber tint. But sometimes we'll put like a mineral oil on it, which is clear. And what it does is it enhances the wood's natural beauty. So what you're actually seeing is, for the most part, the wood's actual natural beauty. It might have a little bit of an amber tint to it, but this is what they look like. So this is going to be a hardwood project, which is going to be neat. And what we're going to do to do this is we need to get a total of 1, 2, 3 of the same species, big pieces, and then we need to get a total of 2 of the same species, small pieces. So it consists of 3 big and 2 small. Now, we're going to pick 2 different species, all right? One for the big and one for the small. But they do need to be the same. In other words, we can't do like a maple and a red oak and a white ash. It looks funky. It's not something that we want to do. We want to just pick 2 different contrasting colors. Like this is white, this is black. All right, this is whitish, this is orange. All right, you know what I'm kind of saying? This is kind of orange, this is kind of white. So if we take a look back here, we're going to take a look at all the different species that we have. And these are all hardwood species. And I don't know if you guys have watched the video yet on the new one that on the project starting. But do you guys know what the difference between a hardwood species and a softwood species tree is? What do you think? Okay, so most people would say exactly what you said. Most people would say, obviously a hardwood tree is made out of real hardwood, and a softwood tree is made out of real softwood. Well, there's actually some hardwood trees that are softer than some softwood trees. And there are some softwood trees that are actually harder than hardwood trees. So it's not really that one wood is soft and one wood is hard. All right. The difference is that a softwood tree would be a tree like a white pine tree, or maybe a Douglas fir, or maybe a hemlock fir. And those trees, do those trees have leaves or needles? A white pine, a Douglas fir, what's a Christmas tree? You know Christmas trees are sometimes fir trees. Those are the ones that have the real big needles. And a spruce has got the real small needles. So does a softwood tree have needles or leaves on its branches? It does have needles. So if a softwood tree has needles, what does a hardwood tree have? It has leaves. All right, so that's what the real difference is. A hardwood tree is a leaf-bearing tree, and a softwood tree is a needle-bearing tree. I think that generally speaking, the hardwood species of woods are much more attractive, much more beautiful wood. They look very nice compared to a needle-bearing tree. A lot of needle-bearing trees we use for construction, maybe like building a house or a garage, something like that. So if we take a look down here, each bit happens to be labeled. So down here we have some hickory, we have some maple, we have some beech, we have some birch, we have some maple, we have oak, we have white ash, and we have cherry. Now, some of my favorite combinations would be the cherry and the maple. We also do have some of this roasted poplar up here. And the roasted poplar is like a dark brown. It turns black when we stain it. That's like that black color right there. And give that a sniff. It's actually cooked. It's roasted, and it kind of smells like chocolate, doesn't it? Yeah, it's neat. Now, this is a softer hardwood, so it's a little bit challenging to work with in the aspect that if we pair this up with a really hard wood, this sands a lot faster than the other stuff. It might make some divots. But anyways, what I'm going to allow you guys to do is think about what two species you want to use. And let's take a look up here real quick. See these right here? This is an oak and an ash. You see how the grain is exposed? All right, really see that grain big time. This happens to be right here. This happens to be a piece of white ash. These two outsides actually happen to be hickory. That's a real hard wood. It looks really rustic and old-fashioned. This happens to be maple. This is the black. It's not black walnut. It's the roasted poplar. It looks like black walnut. This is ash, and this is cherry. Let's take a look. So, a lot of times people will match the oak and the ash because they're both have a exposed grain, and a lot of times people will do. This looks really sharp. This right here looks really sharp if we do like the maple and the roasted poplar, or the maple and the cherry. I wonder. I don't think I have any more. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys kind of think of what do you guys kind of like out of what we see here. What do you think?
I like that roasted.
You like the roasted poplar? So do you want to do yours like this with the black and white?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look what we have. So it looks like we need to take 2 small black pieces. Right. Let's confirm that those are 1/2 inch, which I believe they are. That's kind of like a. Okay. So if you took roasted poplar for that, you're going to need maple for the big pieces, right? So this one here is the maple. Let's go ahead and grab 3 big. Oh, and that's what do we got there? That's birch. We don't want to use that. We're going to use the maple, which is in this one. You need 3 of those. Okay. And let's take a look what it looks like actually, real quick, right here. So we're just going to take these and we're going to go like this. That looks pretty nice, huh? Yeah. All right. So you have yours. What would you like to do? What do you think? The hickory would be all the way down there. Take a big or small pieces for your hickory. Okay. 3 big pieces of hickory. And let's see. What do you?
This would look darker.
Well, it turns really dark once we put the oil on. It changes it dramatically. So don't go by what it looks like right now. This is what it'll look like later. Except
This one.
well, that's a white oak. I don't know if we have the white oak, but we definitely have some oak. Let's take a
The darker
look.
one is the one.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's crazy, isn't it? Let's take a look. I might actually have a piece. I'll tell you what, look at this, buddy. That's a nice piece of white oak right there. And this right here happens to be another beautiful piece of white oak, so you got lucky there. That's a wood species we don't actually carry anymore. So you guys have picked out 3 big and 2 small, correct? So we're probably ready for the next step. All right, we're gonna end the video, cut into it here in a minute. All right, so the next step of this wine topper project here is that we're gonna have to do a glue up with it, okay? And can we agree that there's gonna be one side that faces up and one side that faces down on our project? What do you think should face up? Say that again? Better side. I often say the prettier side. But yeah, the better side. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at some stuff. So why don't you put it right here, Finn, so we can take a sneak peek at it. Everything's right here. And we're going to go over which sides you think happen to be your prettiest. So,
This also.
almost looks like ash. I think it's hickory, but I'm gonna grab you different pieces. Why don't you pick up the sides you think are yours? I'm gonna grab you one more of these next pieces first. Alright, so you happen to like all those sides as your favorite? Take a sneak peek here. So, the next thing that we need to do once we pick out all our favorite sides is we need to check our ends, okay? Because we're going to be doing a glue up on all these pieces right here. So we want to make sure it fits together really nice. Now, is this a really nice piece right here? Not really, right? So this would be a good piece to maybe put on an outside. So we can still keep this up, and we would just move it like this. Oh man, look how nice that fits together though now, huh? This, we still might get some of that in. It does look pretty cool, absolutely. This here is beautiful. So now we're gonna take a look at this one down here. And I happen to not like this rough spot right here, so I think we should probably keep this to the outside. But you like this in your top, right? Do you like it like that? I kind of like it. The only thing that I notice here, when I take a look at this, is I'm getting a little bit of a funky little curve right there. I don't think it's gonna tighten up for us. So let's see how this looks. Might actually go with that there. All right, so we like all these for your top, right? Let's go ahead and grab yours, Dylan. Let's see which ones you like. All right. Carefully put it right here. So the only thing we're going to check on Dylan's too is his looks really good too. Is sometimes there might be a little saw blade mark on an end or something like that when we run it through where it might have moved in our saw blade. So if we had an issue where it didn't quite fit together, we would want to look and try to figure out. Like, can you feel that right there? See that? Now that's not a really big deal. That's a super small little bit. But if he wanted to, he could always move that to the outside. We could see how it's just open a little bit. That's not too big of a pause. This over here, feel that right there. We can kind of feel that pretty good, can't we? So my recommendation for this is that we're actually going to take it and go like this. Oh boy, does that give us a little pickle over here. This side's got it even worse. Hot dog. No, we're going to have to go like this. So you like the way this looks, right? So what we're going to do next is we're going to learn how to do a glue up. And we're going to need a total of 3 clamps. I happen to have 2 out right now, but we will grab another one here in a minute. And we're going to go over how to do that. So we'll move this here out of the way. Go ahead. We're actually going to glue both of yours up together. All right? But we're not going to glue them together because that wouldn't work. But we're going to glue them up in the same set of clamps. So the first thing that I like to do when I get it clamped down is I like to open this here and this here up to the same spot. And that same spot for me is where this meets this. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to open it up. All right, I like that. And I'm going to come over here and I like that. See how both handles are at the same spot on the bottom? What we're then going to definitely make sure that we do is we're going to use a piece of scrap wood because we don't want to dent up these projects, do we, with clamps? So we're going to open these up like so. And we're going to bring this down here. I'm going to open this one up a little bit. And then we're going to take this one right here. We're going to go just like this. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to pick up. Bring it up. And put it right here. Now, do you think it's super important that these things are right on the money right here? Super important? Do you think we could actually get them right on the money? Or are they going to be off a little bit? Be off a little bit. Now we don't want them like this though, right? So we want one side to be close. Close to good. Right? Not perfect. Take this one here. Bring this one up here. And we're going to put this one up here. Now. I've got a little bit of glue on my clamp, so I'm actually going to clean that off. I'm going to show you guys how. Grab a little glue scraper here, and I don't want to ever cut towards myself. That's pretty nice. So move this up to here. All right, and it looks like we're going to leave these things here. I like to leave them about 3/4 or an inch open. We're going to get into about the same spot. That's just for right now. Now, here comes the next spot. Is this part of our project? No, so we're just going to move that out of the way. Is this part of my project? Do I want to glue this to this? So I'm going to tip this up. I'm going to go forward. Is this one going to be glued to this? So I'm going to go forward. Is this one going to be glued to this? So I'm going to go forward. Is this one going to be glued to this? So I'm going to go forward. Is this one gonna be glued to this? It's like somebody else's project, right? So I move this like this. Alright, not gonna touch that one. Is this one gonna be glued to this? Is this one gonna be glued to this? How about this to this? How about this to this? How about this to this? Yeah, leave it like that, right? Alright, so now we're actually ready to go ahead and start gluing this down. So we'll bring that glue right over here. And we're going to put our glue right down the middle. Stop. Stop. These down here are a little tricky. Now you don't need a lot of glue, but you definitely don't want a super thin line either. This is good. I'll show you a little trick here in a minute.
Yeah.
Now, before we put these together, you don't actually need to do this, but it's good practice. I just take my finger and I just let it slide right across that piece. Just like so. Alright, I'm not actually pushing down with my finger, it's literally just sliding. And then I take this and I push it right up to this one. I take this one here, same thing. See how I didn't run over the edge? Bring this one over here.
What?
Here. Now we definitely don't want to glue this one to this one, so that's why we just brought it right back. Joan, can I have you grab me another clamp from over there? There actually happens to be one chilling right behind that pistol sander on the ground, I think. Or let's keep going a little bit farther. Yep. Alright. Now, I glue on my finger, all I do is I just take it, put it on these tablecloths. Alright? The glue comes, I mean, it's off my fingers already. We're just going to make sure these are close. Alright? Don't need to be perfect, just need to be close. Alright? Now once I get to here, then what I do is I bring this scrap piece here back. I'm just going to carefully pull this back. Same thing over here. You see how these clamps are all the way out at the outside edge? Now, with this particular glue that we're using, this Titebond one, we have about 7 to 10 minutes of workability. Now watch what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to take these, and I'm going to turn them together, nice and slow. What do you guys see in the glue up area? It starts to squeeze out, right? Now I'm not even going that much at all here. Alright, so I just got them snugged up. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to double check and make sure that these things are really close and flush. They're not going to be perfect, but if they're off big time, then we would need to do a little bit of an adjustment. I happen to like the way that these here look. Let's say that they were off a little bit. What we would do is either grab a plastic, or this happens to be a rawhide hammer, and we can tap these right over top of our clamps, like this. Now, as we tap it, all right, we also give it a little bit of a hit. We don't want to hit it on an angle, so we kind of. And like I said, we're really not hitting it all that hard. We're just kind of giving it a little bit of love taps here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these both upright. And now we're going to take this one over here. And what was the first thing I did with the clamp once I got it? Do you remember? What did I do? It's a really important part. What I do with this? I opened it up to where this here was in this. Top of it. I'm going to put this one on the top right here.
Now I didn't go crazy tight yet on all these. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start tightening these up. Alright? So I'm feeling pretty positive about that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one a half of a clip. Ooh, that was pretty tight there. Half of a clip. And if I want to go a little bit more, I'd go like this, up. This one's really tight right here. Yep. So this one's here, it's in the up position. So here's in the up position. Now, here's why we open them up to the same spot in the beginning. I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to put this one down. I want you to hold down on this platform. Just hold down right here. Do you see how this one is up and these two are down? Now, today happens to be the last period in the day, but let's say this happened to be like first period. What we're able to do then is we take the clamps and we can set it off to the side. You see how it stands up? So we can stand them over against the wall somewhere and we don't have to worry about them really tipping over unless somebody bangs into them. Should we wipe off this glue? It's tempting to though, isn't it? Normally I would tell you guys to wipe off glue on a project. However, on a glue up, we do not. And the reason why is that we're going to let this glue dry in these beads, and then we'll use this tool here later on, and we're going to scrape those beads off, and then we're going to sand it down using a power sander. Was this pretty easy to do? Was there a lot of thinking though involved? Do you think you could mess it up pretty quick? Yeah. All right. So that's really all there is to it. It's going to take overnight to dry. I mean, it's going to take an hour or two to dry, but obviously we won't be here during that time. So when we come back in, we're going to show you guys how to do the next steps on this. We'll be in great shape.